Chapter 2. Jaden is still trying to catch his breath when the stranger starts walking toward him. With each step, the man grows bigger and bigger, his massive frame blocking the just rising sun. "What's good, little homie?" the man says once he is close enough to extend his hand to Jaden in a casual greeting. With the man now directly in front of him, Jaden is still struck by the size of him. He must be at least 6'8", 275. But Jaden is no longer nervous about his strangeness. Deep, soft creases form around the man's eyes when he smiles, making him seem nice, friendly even. Jaden extends his own hand, and they dab, reaching muscled arms behind the other's back in that universal embrace of black men, old and not so old. "I've been checking you out," the man continues. "You got skill. How long you been hooping?" Jaden's breathing and heart rate have finally slowed to comfortable. He smiles at the compliment. "I started playing seriously when I was 7, so like 5 years." The man nods, stroking his goateed chin, and Jaden senses something familiar about him, like maybe he isn't a stranger after all. "I can tell you've been putting in work," the man says, but you don't always come out this early, do you?" "Well, during the school year I do." Jaden picks up the ball, crouches low, and starts passing it back and forth between his hands before moving it between his legs in an effortless figure eight. "I hoop down here during the summers, but mostly in the afternoons." "Ah, gotcha. That explains it then. I started coming out in June to get some shots in. Nothing serious, but I always come early when I can have the court to myself. I thought I would have noticed you before." "Oh, you ball?" "Nah, not for real. Used to, though. Now I'm just trying to stay in shape." The man chuckles, pats a midsection that's not exactly firm but is far from fat. Then he stops short, as if suddenly remembered that he'd left the oven on, or the garage door open. "My bad, dude. I'm Roddy Buckner. I grew up around here and used to play at Willow Brooks back in the days." Jaden nods, returns the introduction, and all at once remembers. He doesn't know Rodney, but he knows of him. Everybody in Lorraine does. Roddy played high school ball with Kendrick, and together they were considered the best in-out prep duo in the country. Mr. Triple-Double probably would have been Mr. Double-Double if he didn't have Rodney to dish to. Meanwhile, Roddy earned the nickname Buckets because he just hung out beneath the basket, baiting every pass or offensive rebound that came his way. Too big and too dominant for anyone to stop him. He graduated from Willowbrook Academy the same year as Kendrick, and was a lock for Kentucky or Kansas, or even to follow in MJ's footsteps at North Carolina. But then, just as it was taking off, his career was suddenly over. "So, tell me," Rodney says, interrupting Jaden's thought, "what makes you want to get up so early to work when all the other kids your age are probably still turning over in their beds?" Jaden shifts from figure eights to a drill. 1, 2, 3, dribbles on the left. 1, 2, 3, dribbles on the right. 1, 2, 3. "I'm getting ready for hoop group," he says, his brow knitted in concentration. "I played last year, but I'm in 7th grade this year, and..." This is the year that counts," Rodney said, finishing his sentence. Jaden nods. He didn't have to mention that 7th grade is the year when people who matter start paying attention. When kids get scouted by local private schools, and the best ones are offered scholarships for 8th grade. For those kids, 8th grade ball leads to one of the top high school teams in the area. To the teams that provide the training and the platform necessary to play D1 basketball and eventually go pro. Most important for Jaden, landing a spot on one of those teams will be the first step to ensuring that his mom never has to sleep on the couch again, no matter what may have happened to Lorraine and when all the jobs left. Basketball was still a way out, and for kids like Jaden, it all started with hoop group. "Well," Rodney says, stealing the ball from Jaden with one quick swipe, "if you're down, I can show you a couple of things." Jaden's face goes bright like the July sun on a cloudless day. "Yeah, that would be dope." "Cool," Rodney tosses the ball back to Jaden. "Let me see how you drive to the basket." As Jaden dribbles back out, just beyond the three-point line, a calm washes over him. His arms and legs are loose, his eyes steady, his mind settled. He considered doing a spin move or something he thinks will surely impress Rodney. but changes his mind. He chooses the efficient over the extravagant, and decides to cross from his right hand to his left hand, ending with a reverse layup. Jaden goes out wide and picks up speed as he starts his drive. He's coasting, pushing just a few steps outside the lane. Then, at the last minute, he looks up to see Rodney slide into the paint, wide shoulders forming with impenetrable wall just in front of the basket. Without hesitation, Jaden picks up his dribbling and stops in his tracks. "What are you doing?" I was driving. I was doing what you said, but then I saw you. And what? And I didn't know you were going to guard me. "So you're saying that you can't drive if somebody's guarding you?" Jaden sighs, shifts his weight from his right leg to his left. "No, I didn't say that. I just wasn't expecting you to step in front of me like that. And you're big, way bigger than me. Nobody I play against is going to be that big." "Okay, help me understand this, then." Rodney grabs the bill of his cap and slides it around to the back, freeing his face of the shadows that have been crisscrossing his deep brown skin. "I see somebody getting up when it's still dark out, putting in all the work while everybody else is asleep, and I assume he's trying to ride this thing till the wheels fall off. Play D1, make millions in the NBA, take care of his family." He pauses, letting his expressions go hard. "But maybe I got it all wrong." Jaden waits for Roddy to say something else, to ask a question perhaps, but he says nothing. He only waits. "That is what I want," Jaden says finally. "I want to make it to the league. I want to take care of my mom and my grandma. I want to make it so my mom never has to work again. I mean, she'll probably work anyway just 'cause I think she likes to stay busy. But I want her to work for fun, not 'cause she has to." Jaden stops talking, lets his eyelids drop. He can feel it coming again, the stabbing sense that he's not doing enough for the woman who's done everything for him. "Okay," Roddy says, "that's exactly what I thought, but let me ask you this. Do you think it's going to be easy to make it all happen?" Jaden smirks and tries to hide his embarrassment. "Nah, I mean, of course it won't be easy. I got a cousin that played at Wake Forest. We're not close or anything, but I know how hard he had to go to play in the ACC. He was hitting in the weight room first thing in the morning, then conditioning in the afternoon, going to practice, watching film." Rodney holds up a giant hand to cut off Jaden's words, and the hand is all Jaden can see. "If the moon has eclipsed the sun. That ain't what I'm talking about. The gym, the weight room, that's the easy part. It's everything else in your life that's going to be hard." "What do you mean?" Jaden says. Once again, Rodney takes the ball from Jaden's hands. "This right here," he says, holding the brown orb high. "You got this. It's in you. You're a baller, and balling comes easy. But being able to hoop ain't enough to get you to college or in the league. Trust me on that." "What does it take, then?" "The main thing," Rodney says, "is that you gotta know how to see a challenge and keep driving to the goal anyways." There's a minute of silence before Jaden says quietly, "Like when you stepped into the lane, right? I stopped when I should have kept going and tried to score." "Exactly," Roddy says. "All you knew was that I was bigger and stronger than you, but you didn't know what would have happened if you would have actually went up against me. I could have defended you close and forced a miss, or I could have blocked your shot completely. But on the flip side, you could have drive in, shot around me, and scored anyway. Or most likely, and especially if I was a kid your age, I would have fouled you and you would have been on the line." Roddy fires the ball back at Jaden, who catches it at his chest. "The point is that you can't stop, no matter how big the dude in the paint is." Jaden nods, and with fire in his belly, he dribbles back outside the arc. "I'm ready now," he says. "Watch." "I wish I could, little man," Roddy says, glancing at his phone, "but I got a feeling you probably need to get ready for school." In an instant, Jaden's stomach clenches tight like Grandma's teeth while she's catching Jaden playing NBA 2K instead of studying. He completely forgot about the time. Now Grams is going to kill him. And what a slow, treacherous death that would be. He can hear now. "You're a student athlete, not an athlete student, Jaden. Don't you ever get it twisted." And with his mouth dry like sandpaper and nervous perspiration dotting his hairline, Jaden quickly thanks Roddy for talking to him and waves goodbye. At that point, there's only one thing left to do. Run.